Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Getting a better idea of just how severe the hit to education funding in Michigan is going to be due to coronavirus.
The COVID-linked syndrome affecting children has a new name as experts send out a warning to doctors and parents around the nation.
Federal prisoners asking to go free because of the virus. Tonight, there's concern that even the notorious cancer doctor, Farid Fata, could be granted release. We get started here tonight at 6 with yet another milestone no one wanted to see us reach.
The number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Michigan now exceeds 50,000 cases. That number includes 497 newly confirmed cases and tragically another 38 deaths.
University of Michigan President Mark Schlissel says he is cautiously optimistic the school can have a fall semester with, quote, as much in-person instruction as possible, end of quote. Several other schools, including Central, have said they will have face-to-face learning in the fall. Governor Whitmer, meanwhile, today said she cannot envision full sports stadiums in the fall, reiterating the need for a vaccine before leagues allow large crowds to return.
But the governor does see the possibility of children returning to school this fall. She's created what she's calling a Return to Learn Advisory Council to determine the most safe, equitable, and efficient path back into the classroom.
I can tell you that it's my hope that we will have some form of in-person instruction come the fall. Of course, it's all going to be determined based on how many people keep wearing their masks, how many people keep washing their hands and staying away from crowds and observing 6 feet of distance. It's dependent on how we perform in the interim. Regardless, we have to have a plan, and so we are going to perform the task of making sure that we are inclusive, that we are thoughtful, that it is driven by how we keep people safe, so that when it is safe to reengage, that we're ready to roll. That's the whole purpose of this. I'm not saying definitively that it is going to be on this date certain. The facts are going to dictate, and the actions of the people of Michigan are going to dictate that.
And education is a top concern when it comes to major budget cuts that have become inevitable due to this pandemic. The state is now looking at a $2.2 billion hole in the school aid fund. Sean Lee is live with what that means for schools and the families who depend on them. Sean.
Kimberly, we're watching the budget news coming out of Lansing closely for you tonight. The loss of revenue to this state because of COVID-19 crisis, absolutely staggering, and right on the front lines, the bullseye here for possible big-time cuts are our schools.
What the numbers they said were for the current fiscal year and next fiscal year, we're seeing a combined $6.2 billion.
That's the sobering news out of Lansing today from the state budget director. A massive hole in the state budget, all due to the cost of COVID-19 and stay-at-home orders. Another glaring number this year and next. The school aid fund is down a massive $2.2 billion, making your school district brace for big cuts. The reaction here at home from Representative Sherry Gay Dagnogo, a former Detroit public school teacher.
Hearing that we're going to have a shortfall of approximately $800 per pupil is alarming. The only way that we're going to be able to make this up, and we have to find a way to make this up, is through the HEROES Act that Speaker Pelosi has proposed out of Washington.
The budget director also insisting that the federal government come with cash to help, but there are no guarantees any cash is coming.
There's no way that cuts can be made by districts in time to address this before the close of the school year. And so what we're seeing right now is very alarming.
Alarming indeed, but there's another meeting coming up in August with the budget officials there in Lansing, nonpartisan budget officials. And if the state doesn't re-engage its economy, reopen, we could see even higher budget deficits and more cuts, or more decisions will have to be made between Kimberly, Governor Whitmer, and this legislature about what they're going to cut and how they're going to do it. Back to you.
Sean, I know you talked to some school districts. What are they saying tonight?
Yeah, some big ones. Pontiac, of course, and they said they're watching the news out of Lansing very, very closely. Macomb County Schools, the same thing. Detroit Schools here, its superintendent put out a statement saying that he would like to see a balance between safety for the public and re-engaging the economy that can get things moving again. But he already said salaried employees, raises for them already off the table.
Yeah, certainly. All right, Sean, we'll be watching to see how it all plays out. Thanks a lot.
We are starting to see more cities putting out their plans for the so-called new normal, which includes some businesses reopening. Tonight, Tim Pamplin takes us to Rochester, where a very popular downtown is showing signs of activity.
There's a sense of optimism in downtown Rochester this afternoon that things are about to start opening back up. So much so the Downtown Development Authority have relocated into the heart of downtown.
This is going to be our war room, if you will.
A space in the heart of downtown to help the business owners get back up and running.
So downtown Rochester's been a little bit quiet. A lot of our restaurants still trying to stay open, doing curbside and carryout, which has been great, but slowly but surely a lot of our retailers have started doing curbside too. So downtown's starting to wake up and we're getting ready when we can open our doors and welcome everyone back.
There are of course a few businesses that will have to wait. Dance on Main Ballroom Studio. There's absolutely no way you can ballroom, swing or salsa your way out of this pandemic too soon. The hair salons and beauty parlors will be one of the last to open as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Today, the DDA providing hand sanitizer and masks to business owners who are prepping to open.
People went crazy for them.
The Love Local Rochester face masks. They produced 1,000. They were gone in 48 hours. And of course, they're produced locally.
In Lake Orion by Broderie Embroidery, so we're helping out a small business and helping all of our businesses at the same time.
So downtown Rochester is ready and hoping the governor lifts the stay-at-home order in a couple of weeks. And this once bustling little downtown will be just that once again. That's the scene in downtown Rochester. Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
All right, Tim. Well, tonight there is a new name for the mysterious illness that appears to be linked to COVID-19. The CDC is now calling it multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children, or MIS-C for short. A nationwide alert is asking doctors to be on the lookout for new cases. The CDC sent doctors a new checklist for the syndrome, including fever, inflammation, and at least 2 organs impacted. Children also need a positive test for COVID-19, the antibodies, or a known exposure 4 weeks before the onset of symptoms. Experts say for some reason, certain kids seem to be experiencing an overactive inflammatory response several weeks after they were infected by or exposed to COVID-19. Many of the children never showed symptoms of coronavirus. 135 cases have now been reported in 19 states and Washington, D.C.
We need knowledge, and that's kind of lacking right now.
Beaumont Dr. Bashara Frej treated 3 of the local cases. He hopes the CDC alert will help increase awareness and information about the rare syndrome.
We have to respect that we are ignorant about a lot of this, at least at this point in time.
The initial symptoms to watch out for include a fever lasting more than 2 days, abdominal pain, diarrhea, or vomiting. Some children also have red eyes, a red tongue, and red cracked lips. Others have a rash. Dr. Frej says parents should not panic, but they should seek care quickly.
If somebody downplays 3 days of fever, eye redness these days, and doesn't want to do something, they have to be more proactive in pushing for testing or maybe seeking advice from elsewhere.
Well, so far, MIS-C has been linked to 4 deaths. Doctors have been asked to report any suspected cases to public health authorities to help gather additional information about this rare syndrome.
A Detroit man is accused of using the internet to threaten Governor Whitmer and the Attorney General Dana Nessel. Prosecutors say 32-year-old Robert Tesh messaged a friend threatening to kill the governor and the AG. Police determined that threat to be credible. They arrested him at his home on April 14th, and he now stands charged with a false report of threat of terrorism. If convicted, he faces up to 20 years in prison.
If you get folks who are dangerous and violent and you get them out of prison, I can guarantee you that some of those people are going to break the law again. And that is exactly what we are seeing.
Some in the crime-fighting community are calling this dangerous territory, the release of federal prisoners because of COVID-19.
Federal authorities say they are getting inundated with these requests and seeing the crimes firsthand after some are released. Local 4 defender Karen Drew has a closer look at what is going on.
According to federal prosecutors, Dr. Fareed Fata victimized 553 patients, ordering at least 9,000 unnecessary infusions or injections including chemotherapy for people who did not have cancer. He pled guilty and was sentenced to 45 years. But now, because of COVID-19, he wants to be released early.
He doesn't deserve to be released.
That's Geraldine Parkin. She says her husband Tim was diagnosed with cancer and was in remission when Dr. Farid Fata continued cancer treatments for about 9 months.
Tim was just filled with poison. That's what happened with many, many, many of Fata's victims.
She wants Fata to serve every single day of his 45-year sentence.
He took an oath and he broke that oath. He has no remorse. The only remorse he has is because he got caught.
But according to this motion filed on his behalf, Fata feels he should be released early because of his deteriorating health, which includes type 2 diabetes, gastrointestinal bleeding, and early dementia. The motion states Fata is at significant risk of infection, in part because of his age. He is 55 years old. The request goes on to state Fata has been a model inmate.
This is one of the difficult situations we have right now with somebody like Dr. Fata. Normally, you would have a hearing where victims could come into the courtroom and they could express their views and they could take the witness stand and explain their concerns. Now we're doing it all electronically.
As far as the doctor's request to get out of prison early?
I can't comment on pending litigation like that, but I can tell you that we take a careful look at every one of these cases. And we always have the victim's mindset first and foremost.
Geraldine hopes the court remembers the 533 patients like her husband Tim who were overtreated and or misdiagnosed when they think of granting the doctor early release.
His request is labeled compassionate release due to COVID-19. I put in there that he had no compassion for his victims, his patients. He took an oath.
Dr. Farid Fata pleaded guilty to multiple counts of fraudulent billing, participating in a kickback scheme, and money laundering involving $34.7 million. Karen Drew, Local 4 Defenders.
And the U.S. Attorney's Office has until next Tuesday, May 19th, to respond to Fata's request for release. The Local 4 Defenders will stay on this and let you know what happens.
Well, we can say this, the weekend is starting nicely, Ben.
Yeah, partly cloudy, 72 right now, and Saturday is going to look almost identical in the afternoon, but Sunday is a whole nother story completely. We'll look at that, the flood threat, and potentially more severe weather, all coming up.
Scammers working to get your personal information and tempting you with the thought of another stimulus check. I'll show you what they're doing and how you can remain safe coming up in my Help Me Hank report.